Now we'll see class 12th about soap, and I have written a definition for soap, that soaps are the metallic salts of higher fatty acids such as palmitic acid or stearic acid or oleic acid, right? You can use some other acids also. So this way you get the definition, and you should understand that normal common soaps are sodium or potassium salts of higher fatty acids, right? They are generally means the soaps which you are using in your home, whether they are this thing your toilet soaps or laundry soaps, or these soaps are the same. They are sodium or potassium salts of higher fatty acids. These soaps are generally prepared by process or by a method that is known as saponification, and we'll discuss the saponification over here. Now in saponification, we'll see it's in this the hydrolysis of oil or fats takes place with the help of an alkali. Alkali, you can use any of them, either sodium hydroxide or KOH. So this reactions takes place, and in this you have to remember the oil or the fat which you are using. It is glyceryl esters of fatty acids, right? So over here you have to keep it in mind that the sodium soaps are obtained by you can see by saponification of fats or oil in presence of sodium hydroxide solution. And if you want to make potassium soap, then it is obtained by saponification of fat or oil in the presence of potassium hydroxide. So this way you can get the different soaps. Now we have to focus on the on this thing sodium soap, and we'll see the reaction how it is been formed. And basically you have to keep it in mind that sodium soaps are prepared by heating oil or fats with an aqueous solution of hydroxide solution. Now I am writing the reaction for the saponification, in which I'll take a fat or oil, and over here I am using glyceryl esters of stearic acid, and its formula is CH2, single bond CH2, then over here O, then C, double bond O, then C17H35. Similarly you can use over here the same thing, you have to repeat. See, it's double bond O, make sure that it should look nice, right? And O should not be attached, but it should be shown like this. Carbon, then oxygen is been attached between with the double bond with the help of, again it's been bonded with a single bond, then C17H35. same way you can write over here O and C, and double bond O, single bond C17H35, right? So what I said, this is a fat and this is a glyceryl ester of stearic acid. It reacts with NaOH. Let's write down NaOH, then we'll balance it. Then what is the outcome when it reacts with NaOH? We'll see. We will see that a salt is being of basically a soap is being formed, and that soap is what? Sodium stearate. So how the soap will be formed? Now please see from this particular this thing. This portion is being this part. This part is being divided, and this portion is being attached with the Na, right? So let's see how it has been there. So I'm writing over here C17H35, right? And I said CO, this portion, this particular portion is been dividing, right? So this way is, I'm not repeating it again and again because three times is been there. So you can write down one time C17H35 COO, and what is been coming from here, it is forming a salt of this thing sodium, and from here you can get Na, right? After that what is there? OH has been there, and we have this portion also. Now you can see this portion can form you an alcohol, that is C2OH CHOH CH2OH. I think this must you must be remembering your alcohol, that is your glycerol or glycerine, which you are using in your day-to-day life. So it is a glycerol, right? So this is an organic, all these things is coming in an organic chemistry, and all these are organic compounds. So this way you will get a glycerol. But still, come back over here, your reaction is not balanced. Over here you have three C7H35, so you have to write down 3 over here. Then to balance your sodium, you have to write down 3 over here. So this way you will get the reaction, and just this part you have to remove, because I have just explained you that how you can make your reaction, but you are not supposed to write down this way. So this way you will get the reaction that this particular glyceryl ester of this thing stearic acid, which is a fat, it reacts with sodium hydroxide, and it gives you a sodium stearate, which is a soap of you can say sodium soap is been there, and this way you will get a glycerol. So this will be your outcome, and you can have your reaction. So this particular soap which has been obtained over here, it contains glycerol also. So for that, and it is a soap is basically a colloidal form, and you have to separate it from this mixture, because it's a liquid form, it's a solid part, but it is been, both of them is in a liquid form. It has been not precipitated, it has been in liquid state only. So to precipitate it, we add common salt, that is sodium chloride has been added to it. And when the sodium chloride is added to this particular solution, what happened, this glycerol and the soap both are separated. This is the liquid part, it's been separated up, and this is the solid part, it's been again separated. So this way you can, later on you can go for fractional distillation for the recovery of the soap, right, because it contains impurities also. So this way you will have a reaction, and you can see that how the soap is being formed. You can make then after that we grade up the soaps by adding different things, and we have different types of soaps are also available. Let's see or focus on that part. Now let's see types of soaps, and I have written different types of soap: toilet soap, floating soap, transparent soap. Different soaps are there. You can see from my video also that we have different types of soaps are available, and these soaps are available in the market. Let's start one by one. Toilet soap is the soft soap which you are using in your day-to-day life, and it contains colors also and smell for, it has perfume also, and these are better grade soaps, and usually prepared by the good qualities of fats and oils. We have floating soaps also, and these particular soaps floats in water, right? So they are prepared by heating tiny air bubbles before they are hardening. Then we have transparent soaps also, and these soaps are, why they are transparent, or you can see from both the sides, because it contains ethanol, and that and evaporating the excess solvents. So you dissolve the soap in ethanol, and then you evaporated the excess of solvent, so that it looks like this way, as a transparent soap. Then we have the laundry soaps also, which you are using, and they contains fillers like sodium carbonate is there, or borax is there, sodium silicate is there, sodium rosinate is there. So these are the fillings that is been added for the laundry soap. We have shaving soap also, you know it, and these are quite good enough, because they contains glycerol, and they prevent in rapid dryness. You know that your father is using this thing, and you have this an idea that for a longer period of time it can be kept on the face, like is leather very well. Then we have medicated soaps also, and this have a very good smells, and they contains the medicinal values. We have soap chips are there, then you have soap granules, and different ways of soaps are there, right? But this portion I am telling you, but because it's there in your syllabus, but there is no need to learn it, because this type of questions never comes in your board examination, right? Sometimes saponification is being asked, but types of soap is not asked, and instead of that detergent is asked in your board examination. Now we'll focus on the detergents, or the synthetic detergents, or syndates. Now we'll start with the detergents. It's a new topic, and detergents are basically, it's been from the Latin word detergere, meaning to wipe or clean, right? Wipe clean. So that has been there. It's a cleaning agent. Detergents are always a cleaning agent, and it is nowadays detergent is normally donated as synthetic detergents, which are also known as syndates, right? Syndates. So synthetic detergents are either, I've written the definition, they are either the sodium salts of long chain of alkyl substituted benzene, sulfonic acids, or sodium salt of sulfuric acid esters of long chain aliphatic alcohols. Now you must be thinking so difficult terminologies used, right? It's a bit difficult terminologies, that but you have to remember that over there it was easy because you were just few things were there, like you have seen we were just saying that they were the sodium salts or potassium, so salts of this thing, higher fatty acids, salts of higher fatty acids, and it was very easy to remember, like metallic salts of higher fatty acid in case of soap. But over here the terminology is a bit different. We have sodium salts of long chain alkyl substituted benzene and sulfonic acid, or sodium salt of sulfuric acid esters of long chain aliphatic alcohols. We'll see to these terms that what is the structure or what is the formula that is used. As we know that the synthetic detergents are sodium salt of alkyl substituted benzene, sulfonic acid. I have made the structure for it. Now just see the sodium salt. Why it is called as the sodium salt? Because over here you can see the sodium ion has been present, and this part is this thing, the sodium salt of alkyl substituted benzene. Now this is the benzene ring, and it consists alkyl substitution over here, and it's a sulfonic acid. Over here you can see this is the portion which is indicating about the sulfonic acid. So this formula you have to remember, that is one of the these things commonly used synthetic detergents. It's one of the example for it, and we can use the other part also, that is I'm just writing the formula: CH3 single bond, CH2, X O S, double bond O, double bond O, single bond O, negative charge, Na, positive charge. So this thing, you can see the structure I have written over here, and its name is sodium salt of sulfuric acid ester of long chain alcohol, right? So this is the other example. First example is this one, and second example is this one. This is again a sodium salt of sulfuric acid. This portion you can see, this is the sulfuric acids portion, and it's ester. Why it is an ester, this you can see, this is one O, and this part has been attached with the you can see different oops, and long chain of alcohol has been also there. So this is again an example of synthetic detergent. Now we will see that this particular synthetic detergents are very useful in comparison to the soaps, and they have a more good values across with the if you see, it has a very good value. If you compare it with the soap, it can work in hard water also. It's not at all its cleansing action is not at all affected by the presence of calcium ion or magnesium ion that are present in the hard water. So the ordinary soaps reacts with these and form insoluble salts, which forms a curdy precipitate and block the cleaning ability of the soap. Yes, we know that the soaps are not good in the hard water categories, and because they are basically, you have seen that your soaps, if the water is hard, they do not lather. So I have given you the concept why this happens, that it's a hard water, the soaps do not lather, because the calcium ion, the magnesium ion that are present in the hard water, they forms the insoluble salts, and thus form a curdy ppt, and thus blocks the cleaning action of the soap. But in case of detergent, this thing does not happen. It do not reacts with this calcium ions or magnesium ions that are present in the hard water. It has a very good effect even in the hard water. Now we'll see the types of detergents, and I have written the three categories for detergents: anionic detergent, cationic detergent and non-ionic detergents. If we talk about anionic detergent, let's start with or focus on the anionic detergent. Then you will see that why the name is given to us anionic. This particular detergent is said to be anionic when it have a large parts of molecules which is anion, and it's involves in the cleansing action. It means this particular detergent is containing more amount of anions, and these particular anions are participating in cleaning actions or cleaning yes, in cleaning actions, right? So they are also of two types, and we will see that what are the two types. Now the first part I have written sodium alkyl sulfate. It is one of the anionic detergent. Now why this particular detergent, what does it contain? So first of all, you see its formula. This is R single bond O. It's a alkyl group that has been attached sulfur, that has been attached with the double bond with oxygen. Over here again the same, and a single bond O, it's having a negative charge, Na a positive charge. So this is the formula of it. It's just a general formula, and this particular R is what? It is an alkyl group, and this alkyl group contains about 12 to 18 carbon atom, right? So you can change by your own this thing, and you can get a different ways of you can say, you can have a, you can write down the formulas by your own. So let's make a look of it, and we can make one formula. So what we have to do, this portion you can leave it like this till here, but this portion we are saying about 12 to 18 carbon atoms can be used. So just remove this. I think this general formula you have seen, and you know that this is an alkyl group. Over here it contains 12 to 18 carbon. Now we want to make a formula, and we want to just change its structure. So it's starting from 12. So 12 alkyl groups you can use. So let's start with it. We are writing CH2. Then instead of writing many times CH2 CH2 CH2, we can write it in this way also, twice, and CH3. Now please make sure, don't do this thing CH2 and then you are closing it with the first number is 12, we are starting with the 12. This thing don't write it, because you know you have to balance the carbon atom also, and in this way in books also it is written in this manner. Maybe possible a person can write down CH2 whole after putting in the brackets, and you write down 12. So that is not there, because the carbon atom will be not balanced. So this way is there to represent. So what we have done, we have simply removed the R from here. In place of that we have put the 12 carbon atoms, but in this manner we have to see that the balancing of this bond should be satisfied. And carbon's valency, you know, it's tetravalent in nature, so all the valency should be satisfied. So this way you will get the formula for sodium alkyl sulfate. Now let's talk about its name. Now this thing, it's new to you, you have to remember. Sodium, so it's fine, but for 4 it is been written like this, uryl sulfate, right? So please, you have to learn, these things are very new to you, and you have to learn these names. There are other also, you can also write for 14, you can write down for 15 also. Now what does it means? We are again focusing on it, and I just want to tell you that these are the sodium salts of sulfuric acid, esters of long chain aliphatics alcohols, right, that contains 12 to 18 carbon atom. Now we will see the second example also. Now I have written the second name of anionic detergent, that is sodium alkyl benzene sulfonate. Now I just want to make the structure. Now just see, it is a benzene ring which I am making. Alkyl group that has been attached. S double bond O, double bond O, single bond O, Na. Right. So this way we can draw the structure. It's a benzene ring that has been attached to an alkyl group. This is the sulfonate part, and this is the sodium that has been there. So over here also you have to keep it in mind that the R is what, your alkyl group, but the point is that what you have to see, R is a long chain of alkyl group. It's not like that you are writing CH3 over here or C2H5 over here, but it is a long chain of again the same thing which we have discussed in the previous example, that R should be from or how much carbon atom should contains 12 to 18. So over here the R should be how much, 12 to 18 carbon atom. right? This way we can have it. And again, we if you want to make the formulas with this, because you know that R is from the carbon numbering atoms, they are from 12 to 18, so we can simply change its and just remove this R. Maybe possible my place is small, so still I'm trying to write down. This is CH3 single bond, CH2 whole 11. It's again trying it, CH2 11, and this is CH3. Again I'm telling you, please don't write down CH2 whole bracket and then you are putting 12, because this will not balance your carbon atom. You have to focus on the balancing of the carbon atom also, right? So this is one of the example which you can make, and by this you can make other formulas also, right? Now I am focusing on the next topic, that is cationic detergents, and in this you have to remember that this particular cationic detergents are quaternary ammonium salts of chlorides, bromides, acetates, etc., and having a long chain of alkyl groups, right? Again I am telling you, these particular cationic detergents are quaternary ammonium salts of chloride, bromides, acetates, and having long chain alkyl groups, right? And these particular cationic detergents are very expensive and comparison to anionic detergents, so they have a very limited use, and they are always having, because being expensive in nature, they also possess they acts as germicides also, so because they have a germinal properties, that's why we use in that. We are not using it in our day-to-day life concepts, right? So once again I'm saying that the cationic detergents are the quaternary ammonium salts of chlorides, bromides, acetates, right? And they possess having a long chain alkyl group. This thing you have to keep in mind. Now examples we can see, I'm writing one of the example for it, CH3 CH2 whole 15 and CH3 CH3 over here, then we have CH3, then this part, and Cl minus plus 1, right? So this way you can say it's an ammonium salt. You know that ammonium is NH4 plus, this is been there, NH4 plus, so this way we can make it the formula, right? So I think this thing you can copy, and there are other examples also for it. Now you can see once again I have written it, and I have written the name also. Now why it was a cationic detergent? Now you know it has a large amount of the this thing cationic part, and anionic part is very less. But in the previous part you have seen the anionic part was more and cationic part was less. So I think this part is clear to you, and over there only sodium cation was present. Over here you can see a big portion of cation has been there and a small portion of anionic part has been there. That's why it comes in the cationic detergents category. Now the next heading is non-ionic detergent. By the name you can understand it does not contain any ion part in it, or neither cations nor anion in it, and we can see that they are basically the esters of higher molecular, you can say, mass formed by the reactions between polyethylene glycol and stearic acid. So that way we can see. Now I am writing the reaction. Once again I am telling you, they are the esters of high molecular mass formed by reaction between your polyethylene glycol and stearic acid. Now ethylene glycol is the formula I think you have seen in this manner in your previous class or in class 10, but we will not write down ethylene glycol like this. We will write down in a very different manner. Now organic is bit you can see it's quite difficult also, but very interesting, and it gives you a very good help. When you, if you like it, then definitely you'll love it, and if you are not loving it, then it's very boring for you. So glycol is written in this manner, and then they are using your the next portion. Now I am writing the this thing. Glycol is being written over here, ethylene glycol, and this thing is ethylene oxide. Now these two things reacts together, they form you polyethylene glycol. Now we have to see how this polyethylene glycol is being formed. So let's focus once again on this. You have to write down OH because we are focusing on it. This particular portion will be attached over here. Now see how. OH, then I am writing CH2. First of all, you write down whatever is written. CH2 is written, CH2 is written, O is being written. So instead of making O here over here, you can place it in this manner. Close the bracket, put it N, because you are putting N over here. N indicates, because this particular detergent that will be formed, it will contain, its molecular mass will be more, so, or high, that's why we are putting N over here. It indicates large number of molecules of that particular whatever organic compound you are using. And after that, once you have written this, you have to just attach this portion. What it is, write down CH2, CH2OH, simple as that, right? So this way you will get a compound indicated with the single bond. This is polyethylene glycol, right? What it is, polyethylene glycol. Now what I have to do, just this particular polyethylene glycol, it's further reacts with the stearic acid. Now what is the stearic acid? I am writing the formula. I am once again telling you, it's new topics. You have to remember or learn all the formulas, and there is no such key or formulas are there, but you know that if I am saying you stearic acid, so definitely it must be from the carboxylic acid, and you know the carboxylic acid is this. So this particular R is changed by a large number of carbon atoms. So this way you can see the stearic acid. So I am writing it CH3 bracket CH2 bracket close, 16 molecules are there, then this is COOH. So this is your stearic acid. Now what happened, from this particular, these two compounds, water molecule is being removed. So how this water molecule is removed, just see, from this particular stearic acid, which is a carboxylic acid, from here H atom is being removed, and from here this particular alcohol, this OH is being removed. So this OH and this H, both of them combine together and forms you water, and water is being removed out. Now how to attach it? First of all, you are removing H from here, right? So what you will do, you will simply write down the same thing of the remaining portion of the stearic acid, and you will attach the above portion. Now this portion is already removed, right? So what has been there, this is CH2 CH2O bracket close, whole N, then the next part is CH2 CH2OH. So this way you can have a look of it, and you can have a this part, and you can understand the reaction also, how the reactions are taken. I think this must be clear to you. Once again I am telling you, the polyethylene glycol that is been formed from the above reactions, it reacts with the stearic acid. This stearic acid contains this, from here this S has been removed, and from this particular alcohol this, so this particular OH and that one, this H is being removed in form of water, and you get this compound, right? And this particular compound that is being formed, it is a non-ionic detergent. So this way you can easily get an idea of non-ionic detergents, right? Of water molecules takes place, and a non-ionic detergent is being formed. I'm writing the formula, then I'll let you know how the formula is being formed. So this portion we are copying from here, then see, you have to combine this portion to it. So what you are removing H from here, right? This H is been removed, and from there also this particular OH is been removed. So this OH and this H is removed, and that you get a small amount of water from here. Now when this portion and this portion is removed, you have to attach this line. So how you'll write down, right? So we are, I just want to write down that is what is there. This has been removed and this has been removed, water is been removed. Now that has been left. This is CH2 dot, or you cannot write, do, if you don't want, don't write down CH2. Then you have O whole N. My paper is I think less, so but you please make sure that when you are writing, this bond should be when this bond is ended up, then over here you have to write down this portion, CH2 CH2OH, right? Right, I'll make it. Now you can see I've made the entire formula, I've written over there, and you can see the formula, and that is again I'm repeating it. This H, this particular H, and from here this OH has been removed, then they both of them combine, they liberate out water. Now this portion is being this particular, from this portion this has been removed. In place of that you are adding this part. Just see, I'm doing the same thing. I'm adding this portion, CH2, then CH2. I'm not writing the bond, you can write down, it's not a big issue. CH2 CH2O, brackets close, N is been there, then CH2 CH2O. Just see. So there is no, just try to understand it and learn it. There is no need to mug up things, just try to focus on it, right? And these type of non-ionic detergents are used in your dishwashing detergents. You are using the Vim and Vim bars, all that over there you are using it. Now this is from the portion from the book Superiorities of Detergents over Soap, and you know that the detergents are quite superior as a cleansing agent compares to the soap. And over here there are the following points you can understand, and I've already given you a bit small point that in hard water magnesium ions and calcium ion is been there, and soaps do not they basically, first of all, they react with this and then they form an insoluble salt, and this particular insoluble salt that is been formed, it stops the working of the soap. But in case of detergents, you can use in hard waters and they do not form such type of things, and you can use detergents, right? So there are different ways how it is being there, and you can see I've mentioned here, you can go through it. Detergents are quite good enough, and how they are used, you know that soaps are very delicate, you cannot use for the washing of fabrics or clothes and like that. So this portion you have to remember that whenever you are focusing on the detergents, you have to see the superiorities of detergents over your soap. So I have written it, right? Use of detergents and pollutions, biodegradables and non-biodegradables detergents. Now you must be understanding the word biodegradable. Now you know that most of the detergents are the locals which we are using are non-biodegradable, or they are hard detergents, and they causes pollutions in your rivers and water, wherever these soaps these detergents reaches. And you know that nowadays we are facing a big problem of pollution, and these detergents are responsible for that. That's why we always prefer biodegradable detergents, so that they could be it can be recycled, right? And they do not cause any particular pollution. So it has been there, it has been given, you can focus on it. And these biodegradable detergents are soft detergents also, right? And non-biodegradables are hard detergents. So this point also you can focus and you can learn. I'm bringing much closer to it, and you can have a look of it. If you have the books of Nutan ISC Chemistry 12th, you can have from their side also. If you don't have, then you can focus on it. Now this is the portion again from your books, and this is a new entry. Basically this chapter was very new, and 2-3 years have been there. And what is there, the only few question is been asked this year, the question is been asked, and this particular chapter at least 3 marks questions do come from this chapter. So this questions you have seen this how do disinfectants are different from antiseptic. This particular question came this year. So there are different ways, and every time I am telling you how to learn this chapter. You have to remember the drugs names, you have to remember what is the uses of the drugs, what is the definition, what is the role of these chemicals. If it is a food chemical foods, then chemicals in food, sorry, that part also you have to remember, in which industry and what are the benefits of it. So this way you have to remember and learn this chapter, because it's one of the scoring chapter, and questions comes from this chapter.